Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Roberta Vigilance, who's actually an event sponsorship consultant. She's with us tonight for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with event sponsorship consultant, Miss Roberta Vigilance. She's with us tonight. How are you?
Fine,
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. We love having entrepreneurs. We love having people who are doing positive things in the community. You've definitely been doing some great things.
Thank you.
It's kind of interesting how we met up through different events and we go full circle. And now you're in my interview chair.
And I'm so happy.
It's great.
Happy. Yes, it's an exciting moment. I was following you, and I'm glad I'm actually right here with you.
It's great to have you a part of the Beyond Focus TV family tonight. So let's get straight into it. Let's kind of rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Take it back for those who may not know what you've been doing or what are you working on.
Okay.
How did this all come about for you?
I started in, so I come from a sales background, right? I've been working in sales since the age of 16, so many years. And this particular job where I worked, I sold websites there. And I met a young lady, her name is Sebastian, and she was working on a hip-hop calendar, men and women in hip-hop. And that time the secretary was out, and I was at the front desk, and she came in, and her and I were speaking. And we kind of bond because I'm from Guyana and she's from Jamaica. So we kind of bond.
Caribbean, you know.
Exactly.
You know how it goes.
And she said to me, I'm working on this calendar. She's very energetic. I'm working on this calendar. Would you help me out? So I'm very helpful. I love helping entrepreneurs reach their goals. And she said, what I need you to do is just speak to the celebrities for me because, that wasn't her thing. I was like, I have no problem. I'm background in sales. I'm really focused when it comes to networking. Could be an introvert, but when it comes to business, not that at all. So I met her, and working on the project, I realized that the celebrities were products. The people who were the movers and shakers behind the scene were the managers and the makeup artists and everyone else who made up this product. I was in college simultaneously studying marketing and management, and I was part of a school club, and some of the students wanted to be models and musicians, and so I said, well, what I can do is take the information, what I learned about the movers and shakers behind the scene, and educate the models and talents to become not only aware of the different professions that are offered, but also to showcase their talents in front of the industry leaders. And that's what I did. My first Entertainment Industry Network seminar was held at John Jay College on J Street.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty
how I
big,
started.
actually.
That's how I started, wanted to help upcoming models and talents.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was?
That was in 1997, and I established my business in 1999.
Oh my goodness. So long time. That's
a long time.
18 years.
Yeah, 18 years in business. 18 years in business.
Most people can't even survive 18 months. So for you to do 18 years, that's absolutely amazing.
Dedication.
Be able to do that.
And passion, as you know, as well.
Absolutely. So event sponsorship, a lot of people, you hear that term a lot.
Yeah.
And I really want to really drive the point home for everyone, really kind of let them know what is event sponsorship, what are the different types of sponsorship, because everyone's doing an event, everybody puts on stuff, and they think it's just a logo on a flyer, and it stops there. And there's a lot more to it.
It is. I learned about sponsorship because I needed funding for those same events that I spoke about. And the word sponsorship or sponsor came into my realm, not the process. So everything that I learned about sponsorship was really through trials and error followed by success. Sponsorship is, I would call it bartering. That's what I said many years ago when I did a video. It's bartering. It's trading value for value. Today we call it partnership. So that's the focus on truly what event sponsorship is. it's two kinds of sponsorship. There's monetary sponsorship and there's in-kind sponsors. So one where the sponsor will cut you a check to have your event, to either cover the cost of your event in its entirety or to cover it just part of
Partially.
exactly. And then there's in-kind sponsorship where the sponsor will give you whatever it is that you need, if it's equipment or it could be food, alcohol, whatever it is. So those are the two kinds, monetary and in-kind sponsors.
That's amazing, and a lot of time we see that even right here in Brooklyn. A lot of times, something that the community could relate to. Labor Day time, you see all those floats, you see banners on the trucks. Those are sponsors. A lot of time, they've either helped towards the purchase of or the rental of the equipment. They've given food. They may have done the printing of those flyers. They may be the drink sponsor on the truck.
Absolutely.
So even something like that, like when I travel to Trinidad for Carnival, you see it is a business.
It is.
Carnival is a business. Every major company is looking for a sponsorship opportunity. They want their branding to be associated. Even people make costumes representing the colors. If it's Heineken, you may have a green section. Little ways that you could incorporate everything. So that's really good to let
and it
people.
looks pretty as well, doesn't it?
It looks so nice when you think of the different ideas
Yes.
that you really could do.
Yes.
That's pretty good. So of course, you do seminars.
Yes, I do seminars as well where I actually have a webinar. It's a free webinar that's coming up on April 26th. And what that is just introducing people to what event sponsorship is and to answer any questions that they may have about how to secure sponsors or what. It's not a full session, but it's an intro Q&A session just for them to get an understanding of what sponsorship is and how it works. And as you mentioned earlier, a lot of people think it's just banners, and it's much more than banners. Some sponsors do want visibility, while others could be private sponsors. I have private sponsors where they just want to see you succeed in what you're doing because they can relate to what you're doing. And it's not something that they want to do. They don't have the time to do it maybe, but they will fund what you're doing so that you can, whether it's to help others, so you could be prosperous in what you're doing. So they also have they're not looking for visibility, obviously. Those are called private sponsors. Some sponsors may want a new demographic. They might want to place, maybe from one country. And being raised in Guyana, one thing that I see, for example, Milo. Back home, we drank Milo. I was born in America, but I was raised in Guyana. So when I say back home, I'm talking about Guyana. And Milo is a product that is here. But let's say there's an event where they can actually make that connection. You see what I'm going. So these are all, like you mentioned, creative ideas that can be offered to the sponsors within the sponsorship proposal.
And even introduce them to new markets.
Absolutely.
A lot of times they want to cross over. They want to bring them into a whole new world of people, who may not have ever drank a nutriment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because for the general market, they only think of Ensure, when you know that nutriment very much has a lot of the same key nutrients.
Absolutely.
I just call it the Caribbean Ensure.
So that's the geographic area as well as the demographic, and then you can, make it into a lifestyle in Trinidad on the band, a Milo band.
Exactly, and that's how things would be.
Yes.
Well, hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Roberta Vigilance. So Roberta, great segment so far. Definitely very, very informative. I kind of want to let everyone know, for those who are interested in possibly getting into a webinar, just how to avoid some of the pitfalls. And kind of let's touch upon that. What are some of the common pitfalls, even from mistakes in the intro email or the proposal itself?
Absolutely. Within a lot of people, when it comes to the sponsorship proposal, they're not targeting the right sponsors. It's two things. My theory is you can actually make one proposal, just one basic proposal, and tweak it for each sponsor, like tweaking the name. So make sure when you send in their sponsorship proposal, make sure
You've taken out the right name.
make sure you put the right name. A big mistakes that people make. You don't have to go and reinvent the proposal 4 or 5 times, because at the end of the day is what really you have to offer the sponsor. So it doesn't make sense to go in and tweak it all over, to change it all over again. So one, make sure that you're targeting the right sponsors. Make sure the name is correct. Another thing, make sure that you know how much you need to ask for, which is a huge mistake in the proposal. And what I mean by that, if you're asking for $20,000, make sure the benefits that you're offering the sponsor at minimum, and why I'll explain to you why I say at minimum should be $20,000 in value. And the reason why I say at minimum is because behind the scenes, what happens is when you offer to sponsor $20,000 in value, you have a generation of consumers coming up, which that actually multiplies more than 20,000. And sometimes, so that's one way. That's why I say just the minimum. But of course, you can offer the sponsor 4 times what you're asking for, as well as many ways that you could go about it.
That's pretty interesting, and especially because it is a reality of it. You know, people are looking for the ROI, the return on investment.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, people don't know how much they should be asking for.
Yeah.
Which is a common thing. What are some of the other common pitfalls that we may be doing when we're sending out proposals?
One of the biggest things in sponsorship professionals, they continue to say this, one of the biggest things I must say is definitely, one is not understanding sponsorship. And what I mean by that, for example, when they send out the sponsorship proposal, they will use the terms as, I'm asking for a donation, or sometimes the only thing that they're selling the sponsor is a set of banners, and when you're talking about a company like Heineken or even Coca-Cola, I mean, they're huge, so banners are good, but what else can you offer the sponsors? So it's just not about asking for $20,000. You have to be able to quantify that, as I mentioned earlier. The language, you have to know the right language. It's not a donation. It's definitely not free money. And what I find out as well is a lot of sponsorship seekers feel that they're entitled to the sponsorship. They feel because you're part of the community that they're in, you're supposed to give me the sponsorship. So when they're on the phone or in a proposal, they feel more of an entitlement, more rather than it's a partnership that you're building.
That's very true.
And a lot of sponsorship professional actually said, and I believe I said this, make sure you target the right sponsors. So if it's a children's event, you're not necessarily, you don't want to target Budweiser. So
that's true.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest complaints that the sponsorship professionals are having.
No, and that makes a lot of sense, for sure. When you think about that, people, it's just about knowing the budgets, knowing what you're targeting. In terms of marketing companies, a lot of times there's a cutoff period, which is something else.
Yes.
People don't know. So they will start asking for money 2 months out when, especially with major corporations, budgets, your fiscal year, and they've already started planning 2018.
Yes.
There's a cutoff period and start making plans. So shed some light on that.
I know sometimes it's January, and that's not something that I would tell a person not to do. It doesn't matter that there are cutoff periods. For example, January, they just finished in January. The finance company, they finished in January. Did all of them close off their budget? I don't know if all, but the ones that I was working with, January, they said get your sponsorship proposal in by January. Some say September, some say October.
Yeah.
So
I've heard the fall usually is.
Right. So we really don't know each company fiscal year because it changes. Sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months, 4 months. We just don't know. So what I say is to submit your sponsorship proposal. Give yourself. I say this. It takes 6 months to a year to develop a positive relationship with sponsors. What I see that sponsorship seekers do, they wait until 3 months before the events and want to secure sponsors. If you're going to do that, I say, go start locally. Don't go for the corporate. Send the corporations your sponsorship proposal so that they can get familiar with who you are and get familiar with your event. But definitely go aggressively after the companies within your communities. You have a better chance that way because you can actually walk in the door with your proposal versus submitting it and making fresh contacts. And so it takes 6 months to a year or longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. Kind of shed some light on, let's say you've emailed a proposal, you're not hearing anything back. You play the waiting game, you email again. Just kind of breaking that wall, breaking that barrier to actually get a response. Because a lot of times silence could be one thing, but we get bombarded and inundated with so many emails. If you're the marketing director of any other company or a sales director, these come in on a regular basis. So maybe what are some tips for setting your proposal apart and maybe not getting discouraged on the first or second try?
It is a numbers game, and what I mean by that is still sales at the end of the day. It's selling. That's what you're doing. You're selling your event, and it definitely, and I've said this in my video, you have to follow up. So after you send your sponsorship proposal, a lot of executives, I realize now, decision makers in sponsorship, they are doing the email, and they're really cool. They really follow up really fast with you via email. So after you send your sponsorship proposal, follow up the same day. And if you don't get a response I would say for me, no more than 2 days, and that's a long time. But 2 days, you make the phone call, leave a message. If you don't get them, follow up again via email. Haven't heard from them in the next 2 days, and you have 5 days to work with. Continue to follow up until you hear back something, but just don't rely on that one sponsor. Make sure that your sponsorship proposal is dispersed in other places as
Right.
well.
We'll hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Roberta Vigilance. So Roberta, I love it. Lots of information. Hope you guys are taking notes, actually, okay? Because, it's getting to that time of the year. A lot of people are doing boat rides. This is our time. This is definitely our time. I think in the wintertime, especially in our community, we kind of hibernate a little bit.
Absolutely.
But we come out and you start seeing everything. And if for someone like myself who works in the field, my eyes are always kind of open. I like to see, who's sponsoring this? And especially in the Caribbean community, there's always a typical, you'll see a Golden Crust, and I think that's another pitfall when you're always targeting the exact same. You think because it's Caribbean, you have to go after that. No, I've actually explained to other people in the general market, Caribbean people, yes, we may be Caribbean, but we're still consumers at the end of the day.
Right.
We still buy cars.
Absolutely.
We still shop at Macy's and regular stores. So don't think because our event may be pertaining to our community, that makes us any less of a regular consumer.
Absolutely. And then you have to think about the generations too. Some people, some generation American, right? It's
First generation, but I'm still I've never lived a day in my life in the Caribbean, but I go Very often.
From the clothing line to what we eat to what we take a shower with. It's so many products. You're absolutely correct that they can target other than the same old, the same old. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, when that is done, they're adding so much value to the sponsor as well. I know Golden Cross, they probably get bombarded with the same old. So now imagine now if it's the American demographic coming to Golden Cross. Now that's something different, because now they're getting into another community.
Exactly.
So you have to be very creative.
And sometimes you have to target those in the general market who have an interest in urban and Caribbean, because that's another market on itself. Right, people who are not of the culture, who love the culture.
Absolutely.
And they're the ones you want to target. Like, you don't really want to be promoting flights to Jamaica to Jamaicans. You want to promote it to everyone else who wants to fly to Jamaica and stay at resorts and take advantage of those things.
Be creative. Be creative and sell it. Sell, and one thing that with some sponsors and sponsorship seekers will run into that is that sponsors sometimes they're so comfortable doing the same old say a type of events they sponsor and they don't get a return on their investment and they wonder why. So you have to, or you need to have a vision of and believe in what you are actually doing and what you're selling. I say 90% of securing sponsors is being passionate about what you are selling, about your event. So if you can put that on paper and get that to the sponsorship, the decision maker, and allow them to process what you're selling them, then there's a chance that you'll earn the sponsorship.
Absolutely. And of course, author as well.
Yes.
You are not only event sponsorship consultant and have your own business, you wrote a great book that actually tells you how to secure these things, which is amazing because this is an easy read.
Yes.
I could just see it, like the imaging and everything inside. You'll get this in 2 twos. Easy to absorb.
Yes.
So this is perfect. So kind of tell us this, how to secure sponsors successfully.
That's what it's called. In 2005, when I lived in Georgia, I moved to Georgia to plan events, and I moved there with my son. At that time, he was maybe 7 so I didn't even have a plan. I'm going to go down there and plan events. Georgia's the thing to do, because when I worked on the hip hop calendar, I worked down there and I liked it. I worked with the Brat and Lisa Lefta Lopez, God bless her soul, before she passed on. And Georgia was the place to be. So I said, okay. I didn't realize, however, that I didn't have that support system, there. So I decided to be a mom. And instead of running around planning the events, I said, I want to tell people how they can get funding for the events. So you don't have to hustle and you don't have to do this. I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to tell you. So instead of planning events, I wrote the book and I made it straight to the point. It will get you, you'll get to secure sponsors. Plus, if you have any questions, you can always contact me. That's why I put in the book an email address in there where my readers can contact me and I help them through their sponsorship journey, because I want to make sure that they secure sponsors successfully.
Well, speaking of contact info, how do we get in contact with you?
You can actually get in contact with me at my email address at info@eventsandsponsors.com. You can call me at 516-512-9716, and you can also visit me at www.eventsandsponsors.com.
All right. Well, that's great. A lot of great information, Roberta.
Thank you so much.
Everybody at home really is leaving this episode knowing a little bit more, because everybody's looking. There's always something. You may not need it right now, but you're going to need it down the road. You could this is things you could, for your kids' school. Schools are looking for different things. And I think the knowledge is so important. If you know how to write a proper proposal, how to word things and draft it properly, you can actually go a long way. Kind of just give us a quick synopsis of what the rest of 2017 will be looking like for you.
In the rest of 2017, I really would like to continue down the road and get in, getting the word out about sponsorship. I've been speaking to someone in Africa. They want me to come to Africa and teach the class. I'm like, no, just get the book. They was like, no, we want you to come.
I think you need to go.
I
like
know.
the motherland is calling you.
I know. I'm not a plain person, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I would like to do more seminars, definitely more seminars, and maybe start to plan. I said there's an event that I do want to plan, and I think I need to do the layout for that event this year to get it done in to implement it in 2018. I think I'm going to do that this year as well because I really want to get this event out of my head.
Sometimes it leaves an idea from your head to a piece of paper to being real life. So I've seen a few of those come to pass. So
I'll keep you posted.
Keep us posted, Roberta. It's been lovely having you here tonight. We're looking forward to having you back again. We would love to have you back, get an update on that.
Thank you.
Please keep us posted.
Okay.
And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusedmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusedmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusedmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.